I just wanted to share with you some of the chords that we've learned about so far and just give you a refresher on what they look like. Some of the chords are shown up on a list on your Google Classroom. It's the same sheet that you've had before, so you can access that if you need, if that's helpful. But I'll go over them all here as well, and as well as some other ones that aren't on that list. So the first one that's actually not on that list is one that we talked about in the previous few classes, and it's the A minor. The A minor, if you remember, starts out with your middle finger on the second fret. So remember, our frets are the first fret, second fret, third fret, and so forth. So we're starting on the second fret, so this fret right here, and we're wanting to put our middle finger on the third string from the top. So there's the top string, second string, third string. So third string from the top. And then our ring finger goes on the string just below that on the same fret. And then finally our index finger goes on the second string from the bottom and on the first fret. So it's actually closer to the head of the guitar than the other ones. So that's and then if we play that, that's our A minor. Okay. And the reason I'm teaching you this one first is because it's really useful to be able to get to a lot of other chords. You can just manipulate it a little bit to get to several other chords. A couple other things. Sometimes people have their fingers down really low here, and it sort of kills the sound on the strings. So you really want to make sure your fingers are out, and you're trying to push down with the actual tips parts of your finger to make that nice clear sound. So starting with our A minor, we can also go to the C chords. The only change we need to do there is to move our ring finger up one string above where our middle finger is, so it's on the second string from the top, and move it over one fret, so it's on the third fret here. So when you do that, you've got, you should have a sound similar to this. So this is your C chord, so your A minor's here, and your C chord's here. So those chords, you can really transition back and forth between those quite quickly, which is really nice. And then for the next chord I'm going to teach you is the E chord, and we went over this yesterday. But the E chord, all you do is you take that A minor chord and you actually just move everything up one string. So your middle finger goes up one string, your ring finger goes up one string, and your index finger goes up one string. So everything just goes up one string, and it makes a much sort of lower down full sound than the A minor. So your A minor was here, everything slides up one, you got your E minor, or sorry, your E chord. Now, to make it into an E minor is actually quite easy. All you have to do is lift off this finger here. So now the only two fingers I've got on the guitar are my middle finger and my ring finger, and they're both on the second fret, on the second and third strings from the top. So again, your E string chord here, and then your E minor is just taking that one finger off. Okay, so let's slide back down to our A minor, because that's where we were starting everything from. So we know our A minor, our C, our A minor, our E minor. And you might be wondering, okay, well, if I can do an E and an E minor, can I do, and I've got an A minor down here, can I do an A in any way? Well, you can, and it's a little bit more challenging than doing the E minor, but the key here is that you want to, again, take this finger off, the index finger off, but what you're going to need to do now is actually use your pinky finger and put it on the string right below your other two fingers. So it's on the second string from the bottom, and they're all crammed into that second fret. So all of my fingers are between the first fret bar and the second fret bar. So they're right in there, and then that should give you this sort of sound. Now, I like to play it like that because you can transition very easily to other chords from there. However, if it's very hard to get your fingers in there, or your pinky finger's not strong enough to really push down on that string very well, you can play it in different ways. On the sheet, I showed you that you can play it by putting your middle finger on everything on the second fret, your middle finger on the third string from the top, your ring finger on the second string from the bottom, and then your index finger in between them on the third string from the bottom, and still gives you that same sounding chord. Some people also do 3 fingers in a row like that. So your index finger on the third string from the top, your middle finger on the third string from the bottom, and your ring finger on the second string from the bottom. So sort of like that. Whatever works for you. I'm gonna stick with this one just because it's really easy then to transition back to our A minor. So we've learned about our C chord, our A minor chord, our E chord, our E minor chord. I'll play the A minor one more time. So A minor, and then switching that, adding your pinky finger down, and that's the more full A chord. Okay, so those are all the ones that you can access really easily from the A minor. There's 2 other chords that I wanted to show you because they're really important and they're in a lot of songs. One is the G chord. So for that one, you want to start with your middle finger on the top string, 3rd fret. Then your index finger is 1 string below that, so 2nd string from the top, on the 2nd fret. And then finally, your ring finger is on the 3rd fret, so the same fret that that your middle finger's on, but all the way down on the very bottom string. So you've got the bottom and top strings in the 3rd fret with fingers on them, as well as the 2nd from the top in the 2nd fret. Okay, and if you play that, that's a very common chord in a lot of songs. So that's your G chord. The other one I wanted to show you quickly was the D chord. And for the D chord, you want to start with your ring finger on the 3rd fret, and it's going to be the 2nd string from the bottom, so the 2nd lightest string. After that, I usually recommend putting your middle finger on the bottom string on the 2nd fret, and then your index finger above that on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. So it's got this sort of song, or this sort of sound to it. And if you're using it, try only to play the bottom 4 strings if you can, because that's the proper way to play it. If you end up playing all of them, it doesn't sound a lot different, but it sounds a bit different. And you can play this in other ways. So some people reverse their middle finger and their index finger, so they put their index finger on the bottom string, their middle finger on the 3rd string. If that's easier for you, go for it. Myself, I actually tend to put my index finger across all the strings and push down hard, and then I add my ring finger up here on the 3rd fret. Still makes the same sound. Any of them will make the same sound. So however it works for you that you can put pressure on all those same spots, that's fine. So quick review, all of the chords we learned, starting with the A minor. So we learned the A minor. We can transition to the C by just moving our ring finger. The A minor again. We can transition to an E by just sliding everything up, 1 spot, 1 string. And then we can transition that to an E minor by just lifting off our index finger. And then back down to the A minor position. And then we can change that into a full A chord by lifting off our index finger and adding our pinky finger on the string just below, on the 2nd string from the bottom. And then our G chord, how we have to totally shift our finger positions for the G chord to get fingers on the 3rd fret and the 2nd fret. And finally the D chord. Again, we can't really transition that from the A minor, but your ring finger, you want to be on the 2nd string, and then your middle finger on the bottom string and your index finger on the 3rd string from the bottom, or whatever else works for you. I hope this has been helpful, and you can use it to help you playing guitar. You can also use it to play a lot of songs, so we do have all the songs that we had from the fall term, and I'll be getting some other ones that we can practice as well, or you can search up a few songs, and maybe some other people in the class can tell you about a few other songs that we have, or that you can play with those chords. Take care.